always have to kind of do a check to see how my camera position is. Yeah, really pretty good. Nice. All right. Okay, friends, just a little bit of chanting. Good morning, Stephanie. Thanks for checking in. And just gonna do, a little chanting to get warmed up and practice here this morning. So settle in if you like, but if you're still getting comfortable at home or here in the studio, it's all good. So chant to Ganesha, one who removes the obstacles and is joyous, is happy, dancing, abundant. Super intelligent. Yeah, it's a writer. Om Samukascha Kadantascha Kapilo Gatikarnakaha Lamborascha Vikato Vimanasha Vinayakaha Jumraketo Ganajaksha Balchandra Gajananaha Vabhashatani Namani Yapate Chunyadipi Vijarambe Vivahecha Praveshe Nirgame Tata Samgrame Sakate Chaiva Vignistasya Najayate Vignapaliputtaraya Shri Ganari Pataye Namaha Vakratunda Mahakarya Surikoti Samaprabha Havinam Kurume Deva Sarvakageshu Sarvada Shuklam Varadam Vishnu Shashivanam Chaturvijam Prasannavanam Dayet Sarvigna Pashantaye Namaste Shantayaste Sham Bhutastesham Purajayah Yesham Nivarashamo Hridayasya Janadanaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Nanarana Samayuktam Muktahar Vibhushitam Swanasam Asanam Charu Prachatam Pratigreyatam Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Ganangan Tva Ganapati Gum Havamahe Priyanam Tva Pripati Gum Havamahe Nityanam Tva Niripati Gum Havamahe Asamam Aham Jani Garbhadamatvam Jasi Garbhadam Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Dakshangam Gugalam Dupam Sugandhim Snoparam Umasita Namastipam Vihanapadopava Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Briham Mangalam Deepam Vipartam Sagamtikam Deepam Jnana Pradanena Rudra Priya Vimostite Svaprakasha Maham Dipaha Sarvata Timarapaha Sarvaya Vyaptukam Jyoti Dipoyam Pratikritam Om Ganganapataye Namaha Om Ganganapataye Namaha Om Ganganapataye Namaha Ekatantaya vidmahe Vakratundaya dhimaki Tano danti prachodayate Om Ekatantaya vidmahe Vakratundaya dhimaki Tano danti prachodayate Om Shanti 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 Om Shanti 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 Om Shanti 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 Om Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Oh, Great Spirit, we ask that all beings can live in happiness and that all beings can live peacefully and that all beings contain oneness and live an auspicious life. And further, we ask that all beings can be happy and free. And then we appeal to peace again and again, to peace, to Shanti, 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 to peace. Okay, so good morning, everyone. I just want to get my chai poured. And so I'm still in Maha Soul Yoga Studio in downtown Livingston, and this is the other side of the studio. And so last week I was in the other big room, and this week we're in the other big room. And so I'm going to scoot a little closer. Hi, Maggie. Hi, Shigeko, and others who are here in Cognito. And this is a really super special day because we started yoga teacher training program at Mahasol last night. And we have a small but really inspired and vibrant group of students here with us in the studio. And so on occasion, on Saturdays, I'll be working with the students in the training program for this class, and also, hi Sam, and also, be teaching y'all out there at the same time. And so it's going to be kind of an interesting process to unpack. It'll be pretty familiar, but I'm going to be more teachy than I might, otherwise be. And so it could be really illuminating, I think, for, all of our practices. And today, good morning, Brett. Awesome that you're here. I wanted to tell them about what I had this morning for food. Because we'll be going until 11:30, and so one of the things that we have to navigate is how we manage our diet, before practice and things. And so this morning I had like a half a cup of blueberries, and then I had a full pomegranate. It's pomegranate season, and so perfect time. And pomegranate's great for your digestion and your, gut biome. And then I have some herbs and things that I take, some supplements as well. And then I have for my chai this morning. I've made hemp milk chai with honey, and so this will be kind of the all that will keep me light in my body and keep me nourished until we can have a bigger meal at noon. And according to Ayurveda, that's when we should be, eating our bigger meals anyway. So just to think, because I know we all have to navigate, our food intake in the morning. Today's class, I've named fire and water, and the Sanskrit terms for that is Agni and Jala, And so I know some of you take notes out there, and you can do that if you want. And so how I wanted to look at this today is that we'll be teaching Surya Namaskar. So we're going to unpack sun salutations pretty significantly, but both in the traditional sense, which comes from Pattabhi Jois, in the lineage of Ashtanga Yoga Vinyasa, as like Pattabhi Jois sun salutation B. But then there's a whole nother sun salutation, and we do it on occasion that's really connected to a deeper lineage of kind of like traditional Hatha yoga that comes from India. And one of the reasons that we're going to do that sequence is that it's specifically designed for Vata season, Vata. And Vata season is where we are right now. It's fall and early winter. It's drier and cooler temperatures. And so we see that coming in. And so our yoga practice should change. It should modify during this time of year. We should always practice seasonally. And so we're going to work with that in a more specific way today through Surya Namaskar. Surya is sun, Namaskar is salutation to. And the water, the Jala, or the Ap is another Sanskrit word for water, is really about how we do what we do. Like when we think about fire, the back energy to that is heat and aggression and all the things, and I could talk forever about all that, but I won't. And you'll be like, thank you for not. But what I would offer is that we can still utilize Agni, which is the divine fire, the divine light, the energy of purification, the energy of transformation, and practice in a way that's supple, that's watery. You may notice that I'm drinking out of a copper cup this morning too. And so full on Ayurveda morning. And so we can, utilize the tapas, and we know that word, that means to heat or burn. And that tapa is this process of the alchemical, metastasizing the transformation internally. So we can utilize the heat, the Agni, but at the same time, we can, take out that fire in our mind by how we move and how we breathe and how we think. And so the hope here for our morning's practice is that we will fully explore, sun salutations and all of their dynamic nature, but at the same time, we'll do it in a way that's peaceful, that's, has a kind of a fluid nature to it, a watery nature to it, something that's supple. And so I'll kind of cue that up as we go along through our practice to integrate that quality of experience in what you're doing. So again, thanks everyone for joining this morning. And I'm just going to slip back to my abode. And thank you, the yogis in the room, for our beautiful experience. So, yeah, let's just come into comfortable seated position. And find a sense of stability in the form. So we know that Patanjali had guided us to recognize that stability or sthira is essential in our practice. So let the spine elongate, sit up tall, engage the muscles of the back, the elbows stack under the shoulders, the hands are resting gently on the knees or thighs. Eyes can close here if they aren't already. And then breathe into the belly. So diaphragmatic breath. The chin is parallel to the earth. Collarbones broadening, torso, chest open and spacious. And the diaphragmatic breath, as we know, belly extends outward, creating a little balloon or Buddha belly. And then belly to the spine. We understand that this invokes the parasympathetic nervous system, or really allows for the sympathetic nervous system to subside. And feel just the flow of breathing. So connect. So eyes stay closed. The flow of breath. Diaphragmatic breathing, belly breathing. This is very yin, very watery, cooling. And then now, switch this out as you inhale, draw the belly to the spine and breathe into the upper chest. And after a breath or two, you may be able to perceive a little increase in bodily temperature. Belly breath is cooling, chest breath is heating. Activating more yang, more fiery. And let's combine these two techniques. So initiate the inhale by extending the belly outward, and then continue to inhale and let the ribs and the chest expand. Fire and water in one breath. Let the body be subtle here. And then allow for, say, an intention to come in to your practice today, and then possibly, include maybe allowing for this understanding to filter into something that's more viscerally experienced in your life. So maybe there's something in your life that has, say, a more energetic or fiery quality, and then maybe just allow it to be seated with Jala, with the water. It's likely that all of us have a little something that has a little heat to it. You could benefit from a little water, a more fluid nature. I'll chant a couple of ohms and I'll chant a little indication mantra, and we'll get going in our physical practice. So exhale your breath completely. And again, full yoga breath, inhaling to chant Om. Om. And again, another nice big inhale here. Om. Ashtavinchani Shivani Shabmani Saha Yogam Bhajantu Me Yogam Prapadye Cheman Chaksheman Prapadye Yogam Charamo Ahura Dravyam Astu. And then another inhale for Om, please. Om. The translation of the mantra is, may we become accomplished in the practices of yoga, and may we be happy. And let this body, which is made of the 28 planets, the 28 tattvas or principles of the universe, be fully engaged in the practices of yoga. And through that engagement, we ask that we're protected. And by being protected, may we remain engaged in yoga. Om. Okay, friends. So we'll stay seated for a moment still. You may want to move off of your seated support if you're sitting on something so the sits bones can fully ground. And if you want to switch the legs out front to back, you can do that as well. We'll start by interlacing our fingers here, extend the palms out, and then gently inhale, float the hands and arms up. So now when we begin to move and breathe, allow the movement to have a supple quality to it. Recognize maybe the heat or the tension, the temperature that builds in the body. Take a nice big inhale. Next, so slowly lower the hands and round the low back, rocking back on the sacrum, little stretch of the back body. And then gently inhale, float hands and arms back up. Then just continue to move and breathe, and just again be really kind of perceptive of how you're moving. Let it be fluid and soft and supple. Let the pacing be slow even. Take that kind of raciness, if you will, out of the experience, out of the mind. fluid breathing, fluid moving. Begin to recognize how the temperature is lifting in the body, but there's still a supple nature of the experience that you're cultivating. And then we gently release the hands and arms shoulder height. Let the right palm turn up, the left palm turn down, and then we'll twist the arms in opposite directions just to stir the shoulder joint. Feeling into that. Oh yeah. And then begin to just kind of like swim the arms in a kind of a fluid motion, allowing the joint capsules of the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders, the neck to unravel a little bit. Just kind of feel into that watery movement of the body. Yeah, and then neutral position, and rotate the wrists forward, invite the fingers to participate so the forearms get a little bit of a stretch. So joint freeing is what we're doing. Extend through the heel of the hands, spread the fingers really wide, and just reach the arms apart, and then let the fingertips point down, the tips come together. A little bit of that, and a nice big inhale, eagle arm. So Garudasana, right arm under left, so forearms, palms come together, elbows out and up, shoulder blades down the back, squeeze forearms, give the head a little bit of a stir here, just to stretch the neck. Just love into that. Yeah. Just warming up the body here. Fluid motions, though, always be kind of conditioned in the sense of ease, neutral head, inhale, float, hands and arms wide. And exhale, float the left arm under the right, bend elbows, forearms, palms come together. Just really easy movements, aware. The head stirs again. Just allow that to open back up. And then gentle movements here, head neutral position, inhale, float, hands and arms wide. And then exhale, float the hands and arms behind you, interlace the fingers, breathe very deeply. So allow the breath to support opening the ribs, lungs. Head the arm bones gently come back here. And then gently release the grip of the hands here, and then extend the right arm out, and then let the left palm turn up, then inhale, flow left arm up, exhale it over the head, ground into the left knee. Pretty familiar territory for us, getting some lateral extension in the spine here. Externally rotating the upper arm bone by allowing the blade edge of the hand to kind of turn down and keep reaching to the tips of the fingers as you engage the tricep muscle. The head stays in line with the spine, so it doesn't droop down, stays in line. Reach, ground, left knee a little bit, and then inhale, float arm up. Exhale, gently release it down. We'll switch this out, so extend that left arm, right palm turns up, inhale, float arm up, and exhale over the head. Breathe very deeply here, so allow the lung capacity to fully expand here, kind of stretching the right knee towards the earth, blade edge of that right hand externally rotates. Tricep muscle is engaged of the right arm to straighten the arm. Really nice. And then inhale, float on up. And exhale, gently release the hand and arm down. Palms turn up here. And then inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. A little bit of fluid motion here. Exhale, hands to the heart center. Really supple movements. Inhale the breath. Exhale, float the hands down. The palms turn open, just really slow. Just feel every kind of sensation here. Inhale, float hands and arms up. Slowly float the hands to the heart. Inhale here at the heart. Exhale, float the hands down last time. And then we'll inhale, sweep the arms up. And then twist to the right. So release this left hand on the outside of that right knee and right arm behind you. Re-extend the spine. So sit tall by engaging the muscles of the back, drawing the shoulder blades down the back here. Look over that right shoulder and then breathe into the belly. So the belly is extending outward as you inhale to the spine as you exhale. Going into that nicely. And then a nice big inhale here. And exhale, soften to neutral position. And then we'll switch this out. So inhale, float hands and arms up. And then twisting. Now to the left, release that right hand on the outside of that left knee. Left arm behind you. Re-establish length in the spine here. So sit tall, shoulder blades down the back, breathe into the belly. So what we've accomplished here is we've accomplished flexion and extension of the spine. We've accomplished lateral extension and also axial rotation. So we've taken the spine in 6 directions. Take a nice big inhale and exhale, gently release into a neutral position. And then we'll come off of our mats here. We'll make our way to tabletop. So just take a moment there. You can kind of unravel the knees a little bit. As a matter of fact, I think we'll just circle the hips here. So just take a moment and let the hips circle, say, in a clockwise direction. Allow the breath to participate in this experience. And so as you inhale, floating forward, and as you exhale, draw back. And feel free to make it very organic and intuitive. And so your body is calling for, a certain kind of experience or sensation. Allow that to, be explored, certainly. Really nice. Just waking up, slowly adding some movement, initially before we kind of be real static in our experience. Always just supple, fluid motions. And then gently kind of come to a stable position in tabletop. Extend the right leg behind you, the toes tuck under on the mat first. So feel that. So a little stretch of the bottom of the foot, calf and Achilles. And then float that right leg hip height, and then the left arm shoulder height. Really extend through the big toe mound of right foot and the fingertips of the left hand. Take a nice big inhale. And exhale, rounding elbow to knee. So ground in. And then the inhale, sweep open, extend to the inner edge of the leg, into rotating that upper thigh, and then exhale, rounding once again, making sure though that right hand, the plane of it's really flat. Last time, sweep open, and then exhale, rounding, and then gently release to a neutral position, and we'll switch this out. So the left leg goes behind you, toes tuck under on the mat first. Feel into that. Feel that kind of length through the inner edge. Float that left leg hip height into the rotate the upper thigh so that upper thigh is kind of reaching towards the ceiling. And then this right arm extends forward. Take a nice big inhale. And then exhale, rounding elbow to knee, so squeeze in. And then sweep open. Then exhale, rounding. Yep. And then one more of these. Sweep open. And then exhale, round. Release to neutral. Let the knees walk one little step behind the plane of the hips here, just lengthening the stance and coming into Adho Mukha Svanasana. And we know this is downward facing dog. So let the hips lift, the toes tuck under, of course. Kind of wiggle your way into down dog when you're ready. Any movement here is fine. Just feel your way fully into that. Oh yeah, so nice, you guys. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Take a little sip of chai here. Really ground through the roots of the fingers. So just find the hands flat, knuckles. Fingers spread wide, of course. And then gently drape the triceps towards the earth. And that'll externally rotate the upper arm bones and create kind of a broadening sensation in the back. And then you'll possibly notice that really creates the energy to extend the spine. And so lift the hips up and back. The upper thighs can internally rotate. So the inner thighs move back, in other words, in downward facing dog. Feel into that. And then put a little bend in the right knee. And ground the right hand and stretch left calf and Achilles. So a little bit of a cross stretch, but put a lot of energy through the root of the index finger and the root of the thumb of that right hand. And then we'll switch this out. So straighten that right leg, switching, then left knee ground. Left hand again, particularly through root of index finger and thumb. Yeah. A little paddling between the two. A little wiggling of the hips. And then come to a stable position. So kind of begin to rest the movement. And then look internally where you may be really firm in the body and holding the form. So we're completely still here. And begin to soften the tissues of the body. Begin to soften your mind. Almost feel as if there's a flow that can emerge within you. And patience. Present moment perception. And then we'll meet in child's pose. Nicely done. Great endurance, you guys. So knees to the earth, hips to the heels. The hands can float back to the ankles or so. And then just feel the body fully release. Let things soften. Let tension flow from your mind and your body. Yeah. And then we'll meet back into Adho Mukha Svanasana here. So when you're ready, inhale into tabletop and then exhale Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then gently walk the feet to the hands here. So Uttanasana, forward folding. Just take a moment there. Ensure that there's a little space in between the feet to allow for the head of the femur bones to be naturally organized in the acetabulum in the pelvis here. Give the head a little bit of a stir, a little yes and no. Feel good. And again, you may even want to traction the spine by grabbing opposite elbows, so a little traction that way. And you can even sway the torso side to side and let that reveal whatever possible sensations emerge. Yeah, it's really subtle, very fluid. And then Ardha Uttanasana, so half there. Lift your hands mid-chins, lengthen from the tail to the crown, and then move the shoulders away from the ears by engaging the trapezius muscles of the back. And you'll notice that energy to kind of contract the back muscles extends the front spine, and that's a really vital understanding. Yeah, big inhale here. Then exhale, lengthen out as you fall down. Hands release, chin tucks at the very bottom to fully extend the spine. And then again, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, half left. And then exhaling, Uttanasana. And then inhale again, Ardha Uttanasana. Put a little bend in the knees, cactus the arms, lift the elbows flat, back to standing we go. Reach the hands and arms all the way over the head, palms together, gaze up, reach, lift, and then take a nice big inhale, then exhale, hands to prayer at the heart. And then gently release the hands to the side. So we're going to kind of unravel on what's called Tadasana. We know this as mountain pose. And so let the feet be hip width distance apart again, and typically that shows up as having a couple fist length space in between the feet. And then from this position, again, the feet are straight, lift all 10 toes. So lift all 10 toes. And then put some energy through, the pinky toe, and notice how the arch is lifting. And then extend through all 10 toes, and then fan them down from your pinky toe to your big toe. Feel that. The arch should stay lifted here. And then put a little pressure in the big toe mounds of each of the feet, just right and left, feel that. And then equalize that pressure. And then allow the feet energetically to grow into the mat, into the earth. So bring your awareness to the feet and make a really firm foundation. So really vital to create a foundation. The pads of the toes can just lightly caress the mat. We don't want to grip, but make sure they're in contact. Notice as you press through the big toe mounds of each of the feet that the calf muscles have engaged and they're absorbing to the back of the shin bone. And then notice that the quadriceps are engaged here slightly. Feeling that. And then take your hands to your thighs and then gently draw the pubic bone back and feel how the inner thighs move back when you move the pubic bone back. Your butt kind of sticks out a little bit. Going into that, and then soften that down by lengthening the tailbone down. And let's just do this again with the pelvis. So again, pubic bone draws back, inner thighs move back, and then tailbone lengthens down. And so find what feels fluid for you in a balanced position, and then just gently release the hands. The palms turn open. Put a little bit of a tone in the core, so belly to the spine. And then as the palms turn open, we know that what's happening is we're externally rotating the upper arm bone. So let's just do this little experiment. Turn the palms so they're facing behind you. And just feel how the shoulders kind of move forward, right? And then gently externally rotate the upper arm bones by turning the palms open. And just feel how the top chest lifts and there's more space in the torso. So just take a moment and feel into that. And then we draw the upper palate back and lengthen through the crown of the head. So the chin tucks just slightly, just a millimeter or two, just so energetically we can extend. So take a moment, maybe reframe, this again from the feet all the way through the body and the length of the crown of the head. And then feel in the body where there's a firmness, and then just gently begin to soften the tissues of your body. And notice when you can, viscerally soften energy flows. Really nice. So if the eyes are closed, gently open your eyes here. We'll inhale, sweep the hands and arms up. So Surya Namaskar, sun salutation. So imagine the sun in the sky. And then exhale, swan dive, folding forward. So this is our first one. This is our classical, Hatha Yoga sun salutation, folding forward. Uttanasana. So from this position, make sure that the belly button is drawing towards the spine. The weight is kind of pivoting into the big toe mounds of the feet. The heels are just a little supple here, little lifted, so ensuring the alignment between the hip and the ankle. And what's relevant about that is the stretch is then in the kind of the meat of the hamstring versus the connectors that exist in the sits bones. That's really important. Yeah. And then inhale, half lift here, half lift. And then exhale, folding, pull a little bit of knees, and then send the left leg back into what we know as Ajna Asana, or runner's lunge. So from this position, we engage the back leg quad, but we gently kind of tone, squeezing the inner thighs together. So we're drawing into the midline, right? And so you engage this front leg hamstring. So the front foot is kind of isometrically drawing back a little bit. And you'll notice that will extend all the way from, the tailbone through the crown of the head. And just take a minute for that. And then just for ease sake, let's bring the hands to the right near thigh to help the torso come up. So just a little bit of support that way. Take a minute, kind of firm up the back of the quad, and then gently float the hands and arms to the sky. So really allow for the shoulder girdle to lift here. Let it really reach out versus kind of crunching the shoulder blades down. Let them extend as much as you possibly can. So reach to the clouds. Just breathe very deeply here. Yeah, and then a nice big inhale. And exhale, float. So here's the water. Just float all the way out of it. The hands plant and step back into high plank, high push-up here. And pause. In this stance, you may consider ensuring that the shoulders are somewhat behind the wrists, right? And so sometimes the shoulders are stacked right over the wrist, and that can put, say, too much pressure, mind you, on the wrist joint. And so a little longer stance can be a little more supple or ease for the body. Just stay with your breathing here. And then take a nice big inhale, 8 points bowing. So release to the knees, the hips stay lifted here. Bend the elbows and bring the heart and the chin to the earth. So Ashtanga Prananasana is what this is called. Pause here for a moment. And then inhale, pull forward and ground the front of the body and come into Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. So kind of a baby cobra, the torso is just slightly lifted, engaging the muscles of the back, ground the tops of the feet and the pubic bone into the earth, ground the hands into the earth. Isometrically, the hands draw to the waist. We'll pulse this a couple times here. So inhale your breathing, and then exhale, float the torso and the forehead down. And then inhale, float back up. And then exhale, float down. And then one more time, inhale, float back up, tuck the back toes under, and exhale, lift the hips back into downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Breathe deeply to nourish the body with breath. Recognize possibly how the temperature of the body is slightly increased. There's more, demand, if you will, on the pulmonary circuit. So the breath may be a little, labored here. It's normal. The hands are flat. So always ground the root of the index finger, the root of the thumb. Spread the fingers wide. Yeah. Really nice. And then put a little bend in the knees, and then we'll send the left foot to the left hand. So there's Anjaneyasana again. Take a moment here, engage the back of that quad, put a little squeeze of the inner thighs. The shoulders move away from the ears. So there's that same action. And then just as a little support, left hand to left near thigh. Come on up. Pause here for a moment. And then squeezing the inner thighs. Core is going to activate, certainly. And then float the hands and arms. Yeah. So feel the firmness in the form. And then breathe deeply and allow for a sense of fluidity to begin to develop internally, right? So recognize where there's tension to create the structure of the form, but then breathe ease into that, if you will. And then take a nice big inhale and exhale. Hinge forward, let the back foot come to the top of the mat, so back into Uttanasana again here. Take a moment. And then belly button to the spine, the elbows lift, flat back to standing, reach real tall. And then bring it right into the heart, just moving slowly and peacefully and subtly, always. How we do what we do is almost more important than what we do. And then gently inhale, float hands and arms to the sky. Little bend of the knees goes a long way here. Exhale, hinging, folding forward at the hips. So there's Uttanasana again, that forward fold. And then a little bend of the knees. Now the right foot goes back into the lunge, and then inhale, float, upper body and arms. Yeah. So firm up the back of the quad. Back heel lifts completely, and that'll open up that right hip flexor, you'll find. We're just going to explore a little bit here for a moment. A big inhale, and exhale the left hand to the left waist. Then inhale, reach the right hand forward. A fist with the right hand. We're going to twist to the left. So that right elbow on the outside of near thigh, sinking armpit to knee. The left hand covers the right hand, so paper covers rock. You can track the outside of that left hip back. Some of you may want to take this deeper, reaching the right hand to the earth and the left hand to the sky. You choose if you want to take the form deeper. Ensure the firmness of the back of the quad. And then deeper still would be drawing this left arm over the head towards the front of the room, and just stay with the breath. Yeah, breathe deeply. Then nice big inhale, and exhale the hand down, look down, plant, and we'll meet in high plank. So just step back. Once again, in high plank, push up. Breathe deeply, nourish the body with breath. Ashtanga Prananasana, 8 points bowing. Inhale your breathing, exhale to the knees, heart, chin. Pausing here, and then inhale, pull forward, and come back into cobra. Maybe a little higher pitch this time. The toes ground into the earth, pelvis grounds, shoulders away from the ears. And just breathe deeply. Yeah. We'll pulse this also again a couple times. Inhale, breath. And exhale, float torso, forehead down. And then inhale, float on up again. And then exhale, float down. And then one more of these, float on up. Tuck the back toes under and exhale, lift hips back into downward facing dog. So Adho Mukha Svanasana. Breathe deeply. And again, just notice the Agni, the fire, the temperature. And then bring just a suppleness to your mind, to your breathing, to the muscles of the body. Sense of ease, sense of observation. And then pull bend the knees, and then send now the right foot to the right hand. And then float torso, float arms. Come on up when you're ready. And again, ensure the engagement of the back leg quadricep. A little squeeze of the inner thighs. The core is active, so we set the foundation. Then we set what's happening in the pelvis. And then we set what's happening in the shoulders. Take a nice big inhale. And then exhale, right hand to the right waist. Now inhale, left hand forward. So twisting to the right fist with the left hand elbow on the outside of the near thigh, sinking armpit to knee. And then right hand covers left. And again, reassert the engagement of the back leg quad. Going into that appropriately. Then maybe open arms, reaching left hand earth, right hand stars. And then maybe drawing that right arm over the head once again. Just stay with the breath. Oh yeah. And then a nice big inhale. And exhale, hand and arm down. And then gently step the back foot to the top of the mat. Folding forward once again in Uttanasana. Just take a moment. Be the witness of experience. Yep. And then we'll bend the knees. And then inhale, flat back, all the way to standing. Hands reach over the head, palms together. Take the gaze to the stars. And then bring that into the heart center. So that's just one round of Surya Namaskar. And so now we'll do this practice where it's just one breath, one movement. Right? So more flowiness. And again, let the breath carry the movement, if you will. So end to breath, end to movement. Let it all be subtle. So inhale, float hands and arms to the sky. Exhale, hinge at the hips, folding forward, a little bend in the knees. It's nice here. Send the left leg back into the lunge, Anjaneyasana. Then inhale, float hands and arms up. This is called Vajrasana. And then exhale, gently float all the way out of it. Hands plant, step back into high plank, high push-up. And then inhale, breathing. And exhale, 8 points bowing, Ashtanga Pranam. And then inhale, pull forward, cobra or up dog, you choose. So maybe up dog's an option, engage in the quads. And then exhale, lift the hips. Down dog, fluid movements, and then bend these left foot steps, left hand here, and then inhale, float, upper body, arms, really supple, and then exhale, back foot steps, folding forward to the top of the mat, Uttanasana, and then inhale, sweep all the way to standing. This is called Urdhva Namaskar Asana, upward salutation, and then exhale, hands to prayer, into Namaskar Asana. And we'll just continue. So inhale, float, hands and arms reach. Exhale, hinge at the hips, folding forward. Little bend in the knees. Send now the right leg back into Anjaneyasana. Inhale, float up, Dvajasana. You know this is crescent or flag. And then exhale, gently release all the way down, high plank. So hands plant, step back. Firm up the body, big inhale. Exhale, Ashtanga Pranam Asana, 8 points bowing. Inhale, pull forward, cobra or Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, that's up dog. And then exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, little bend in the knees. Right foot steps, right hand, Anjaneyasana into Vajrasana. And then exhale, back foot steps, Uttanasana is the name of this form, forward folding. And then inhale, sweep all the way to standing, Urdhva Namaskar. And exhale, Namaskar. So just take a moment. So fire and water, the tapas of transformation supported by a peaceful mind. And then one more round. here, and I'll just kind of lighten the instruction so the experience is more visceral. So just inhale, float hands and arms. Exhale, hinge. Left leg goes back. Inhale. Exhale, high plank. Inhale. Exhale, 8 points. Inhale, cobra up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left foot steps. Inhale, float. Exhale, back foot steps. Inhale, standing. Exhale, heart. Fluid, slow. Inhale. Exhale. The right goes back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. 8 points, exhale. Cobra, up dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Right steps. Inhale, torso, arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep. And exhale, hands to the heart. Just take a moment there. Maybe let your intention reappear. Nice. And then Surya Namaskar B, Sun Salutation B. So release the hands to the sides here. Come into Tadasana. So take a moment and kind of calibrate mountain pose, Tadasana. From the feet, grounding, lower legs, quads, pelvis balance, core, torso exterior rotation, length through the crown of the head. And a sense of ease here. Yeah. And then gently inhale, float the hands and arms over the head, so reach to the sky. And then Utkatasana, we know this is chair pose. So bend the knees, let the pubic bone draw back though, so don't be shy of the lumbar spine. If this is challenging for your shoulders, you can always lower them. The infraspinatus muscle is being kind of pinched here, and so being mindful that way. Then inhale, reach to standing, float tall, and then exhale, swan dive, fold forward. And then inhale, flat back, half lift. Exhale, fold, bend the knees, plant the hands and step back into high plank, high push-up here. Take a moment. And then Chaturanga Dandasana is just halfway down here. So the upper arm and the lower arm are at a 90-degree angle. So take a nice big inhale. Exhale, bend into the elbows, pull forward. And then inhale, float up into upward facing dog. It's really important so we don't ever break the plane of that 90-degree angle between the upper arm and lower arm in Chaturanga Dandasana. Take a nice big inhale. Then exhale, lift the hips back into downward facing dog. Yeah, really nice. Oh. And then gently, float the right leg up. Then Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. So right foot, right hand. Take your time here. Pivot the left heel down. Come on up. We're going to kind of unravel this just a little bit. So bring the hands down to the waist. So honor first the width of your stance with the width of your hips. And so if I were to step my back foot forward, which I'll do, it's wide. So I'm here. That's what that looks like. And so this stance on many occasions can become too narrow. And when it's too narrow, it's more unstable and the hip can't turn around. And so allow it to be wide enough so it's stable. The back leg quad engages. And then there's kind of a contraction in this front leg so as to bring this front hip back to square the hips. And they don't ever square, and that's fine. Core tones, quad active, big toe mound front foot, hamstring front leg, and so we're squeezing into the middle. Core active, hands and arms reach to the sky. Virabhadrasana 1, warrior 1. And just breathe here. You stay with the breath. And then feel, again, where there's that kind of tension or activation in the body, and then breathe into all those spaces and those places. So create a sense of suppleness internally. Yeah. And then take a nice big inhale, reach. And exhale, float all the way out of it. Hands plant, step back into high plank, high push-up here. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, halfway down. Inhale, float forward, Urdhva Namaskarasana. So this upward facing dog. And then exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So down dog. Breathe deeply. Then put a little bend in the knees. And float that left leg up. And then left foot, left hand. Right heel pivots down. And then again, come to standing. Take a moment here. Let the hips kind of square off, kind of feel into the firmness of the back of the quad. Ground big toe mound. Hamstring engages, core active. And then inhale, reach to the sky. Stay with the breath. Breathe deeply. Notice the tapas, the Agni, the heat, and then breathe into tension. Allow breath to create ease here. Yeah. A nice big inhale, and then exhale, gently float all the way out of it. Again, hands plant, step back, high plank, high push up here. Inhale, you're breathing. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. And then exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. Breathe deeply. Stay with the breath. Ground the roots to the fingers, straight triceps to the earth. Tone the core. Pubic bone moves back so the inner thighs work to the wall behind you. Hollow out the groins. And then at the end of the next exhalation, bend the knees, look forward, and float or step to the top of the mat. And then inhale, half lift, hands mid-chins, lengthen till the ground. Exhale, fold. And then bend the knees, inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Then inhale, stand. Exhale, hands to the heart. Just take a moment. Release the hands down by the sides here. Let the eyes close and just feel, experience. It's the excavation of the internal climate through witness perception. Yeah. And then so we'll explore kind of one movement now, one breath with this. Probably a pretty familiar sequence to you guys. And so palms turn open, and then inhale, sweep the hands and arms over the head. Exhale, bend the knees, Utkatasana. Stay with me here. Inhale, come to standing. Exhale, swan dive, fold forward. Supple movements. Inhale, flat back, lengthen. Exhale, fold, bend knees, plant hands, step back, high plank, high push-up. Inhale, breath. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. Inhale, right leg up. Virabhadrasana 1, exhale, right foot, right hand, so warrior 1. Inhale, float on up, ground back foot, engage muscles. Gently exhale, float all the way out of it. Plant hands, step back, high plank, high push-up. Inhale, breath. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva. Exhale, Adho. Down dog. Inhale, left leg. Exhale, left foot, left hand. Ground right heel. Inhale, float up. Warrior one. Exhale, gently float all the way out of it. Hands plant, step back. High plank, high push-up. Inhale, your breathing. Exhale, chaturanga. Elbows in the side body. Inhale, urdhva. And then exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Breathe deeply here. Oh yeah. Nourish the body with breath. Recognize where there's tension or things and begin to create more supple inner attunements to yourself. More ease. Yeah. And then at the end of the next exhalation, bend the knees, look forward, and float or step to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, and then inhale, standing. And exhale, hands to the heart. Just take a moment. We'll do one more round of Surya Namaskar B, Sun Salutation B, Pattabhi Jois series. So release the hands down by the sides. Inhale, float hands and arms up. Exhale, bend knees, Utkatasana. Inhale, stand. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, half lift, Ardha. Exhale, fold, plant hands, step back, high plank, high push-up. Inhale, breath. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, urdhva. Exhale, Adho. So let's stand up. We'll inhale, right leg up. Warrior one, exhale, right foot, right hand. Pivot left foot down. Arms float. Supple movements. Exhale, float all the way out of it. Hands plant, step back, high plank, high push-up. Inhale, breath. Exhale, chaturanga. Urdhva. And Adho. Inhale, left leg. Exhale, left foot, left hand, pivot right heel down. Inhale, come on up. And exhale, gently float all the way out of it. Supple, slow movements, please. Inhale, breath. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, urdhva. Exhale, Adho. And just stay here and breathe. Take a moment, deep breathing. Oh yeah. Ooh. And at the end of the next exhalation, bend the knees, look forward and float or step to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hinge, fold through. And then inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale the breath. Inhale, stand, reach. And then exhale, hands to the heart center. Inhale, your breathing. Exhale, float the hands down by the sides with eyes closed here. Just take it again, another moment to integrate experience, to feel. So nicely done, friends. Let's work the weight here into this right leg. We'll stay standing. And then put a little bend in the right knee and then just float the left foot above the right knee, creating the figure four, like so, hands to prayer. Keep the core active. The pubic bone draws back. And so we begin to feel the stretch in the left hip. And then begin to bend into standing like knee. Just sink into it here. So just allow the depth of the form to be governed by, the spaciousness in the hip. There's no to-dos, although some may be open enough to kind of reach a little lower into it, and maybe the hands even come to the earth as a balancing point. Just feel into that. Maybe grip the upper arm of that right arm with the top of the left foot. So spread the toes and just kind of draw the foot back, feeling into that. And just opening the hip here, obviously. Breathe deeply. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then we'll inhale just halfway out of it and take the left elbow into the instep of the left foot. So we're twisting and hands to prayer here. Just take a moment for that. Breathing. And we're not done, so release the hands down and the leg up on an inhale, and we're balancing on this right leg. Just take a moment for that. Leg ground through the standing leg foot. The core is active here, and then hinging at the hips, and then interlacing the hands underneath this left foot here. So if you're breathing, and you can stay here or extend that left leg out. Yeah, this little extension, and engage the quad, engage the core, release the foot, and then take the arms over the head. And then gently let the foot float down as you reach to the stars. And then hands to prayer. Ooh. Just observing, witnessing, perception. A little bend in the standing leg knee. We'll switch this out. So float now the right foot above that left knee, figure 4. Little bend in that standing leg knee, hinge. Just allow your hip to open in whatever kind of pacing it wants to. Just feel into that. Keep the toes spread though of that right foot. Toes spread, right foot. Sink a little lower. Maybe the hands, maybe they reach to the earth, maybe not, wherever your hip is going to accommodate. Stay with the breath. Fire and water. Always a sense of ease and coolness in the mind, suppleness in the heart and the body. Yeah, and then float up halfway. So left elbow or right instep. So twisting to the left, hands to prayer. Breathing. Yeah. Then gently release the hands down, this right knee up, balancing on that left leg. Leg ground into the foot, lengthen the torso, hinge at the hip here, folding forward, interlacing the hand underneath that right foot. The quad is pressing into the ribs, and then inhale, possibly straighten that right leg. And then engage the core, engage the quad, release the foot, bring the arms over the head. Stay in your balance, and then float the foot down, reach to the sky. And then, bring it into the heart space. Fire and water. And then bring the hands behind you. Interlace the fingers, inhale the breath. And exhale, hinge at the hips. A generous bend in the knees goes a long way here. As you fold forward, the hands and arms go over the head. Really nice. And then gently release the grip of the hands here. And we'll come into Malasana. So the toes open, the heels turn in, we squat. Just be mindful here. Any knee or hip issues, hands to prayer. Just stay with the breath. And then the right hand to the earth. So sweep the right arm forward, then over to the right, ground the fingertips, and then take the left arm to the sky. Yeah, breathe. And some of you may want to bind this out so the thumbs turn down, elbows bent, hands interlaced, or not, you choose if that's an access point. Breathe. Let out. And then gently release the bind if you're there. Hands back to prayer for all of us, neutral. Lengthen here. And squeezing your thighs together still here. And then left hand reaches forward, sweeps over left, grounds, fingertips right, arm floats. And again, maybe bind, so thumbs turn down, elbows bent. Stay with the breath. And then back to neutral here. Pausing. And then let the hands release behind you, the hips down. Soften them. Nice. And we'll just spin around. And you guys, go ahead and spin around, face away from the front. And then this energetic thing will come onto our back. So just gently use your core here to float the torso down. Extend the hands and arms over your head long. Give the body a full stretch here. Reaching through the feet and toes and the fingertips. Right over, and then hugging the knees into the chest. A little squeeze, you can rock side to side. A little massage to the spine. Oh yeah. And then a supine twist, so it's called Jatara Parivartanasana, stomach churning pose. Bring the feet to the earth simply. The arms are at a T or cactus position, and then shift the hips to the right a bunch. Set them down, and the knees to the left. The legs stack on top of one another, maybe a 90-degree angle between the upper and lower leg. The gaze turns to the right. And soften into the right armpit, right shoulder. Water. Just water now. And gently let the knees float up to neutral. We sweep the hips through neutral and then to the left. And then the knees to the right. The gaze to the left. Breathe into the belly here. And gently let the knees track back to neutral, hips to neutral here. And then we'll come into our inversion Viparijapani Mudra. A block may be handy for some of you here, or the hands ground. We lift the feet, lift the hips, and then wiggle up onto your shoulder blades. And this is a half shoulder stand, so the body actually comes into a V shape. The V shape of the body. The hips are releasing into the hands, elbows, upper arms, shoulders, gaze is straight. Eyes can close. As the name implies, mudra. So this has an alchemical quality to it where it's directional energetically, powerful form. Just going to settle in here, continue the flow of breath, and allowing for a sense of water. And we'll gently begin to come out of this. So bending the knees, releasing the hips from the hands float down, and then gently release the hips down. Hug the knees one last little time into the chest. You can rock side to side here. And then we'll begin to prepare for Shavasana. We do these little breath retention things. And so send the legs out long, the feet will open, the arms, open at the sides, palms turned upward. And then exhale your breath completely here. And then take a nice big inhale and hold the breath in and just wait on it. So inhale and hold the breath. And very gently exhale here. And we'll do one more of those, but I'll cue you as you hold the breath in to pooch out your belly. And so exhale the breath completely. Take a nice big inhale. So big inhale here. Hold the breath. Pooch out your belly. Gently exhale your breathing. We'll stay in Shavasana here. If you're feeling the need for other comfort, take a moment to organize. Just relax here. In Shavasana, we allow for the tone of water to move to the tone of just awareness, stillness, and peace. Great ease here, Maha Sukham. Great ease. perceive the space that surrounds your body. So awaken into awareness perception. And then notice the piece that's aware. And then notice your breathing. And maybe the breath is expanding into the belly here. But notice that the function of breathing and the awareness of breathing are distinct and separate, and you can isolate those experiences. More interested in your awareness. That's what yoga is. Gently begin to return to the Prithvi Sharira, so the earth body, subtle movements of the hands and the feet and things. A little stretch of the arms at some point, and hugging the knees to the chest, and we'll come to the left side, so we invoke right brain, which is intuitive and fluid and supple in us. So left side. And then gently come up to seated position here. So for those of you who may be newer on the stream or things, we have about another 25 minutes of practice. We'll do our pranayama and meditation practice now. And so get into a comfortable seated position that you can sustain for at least 25 minutes. So whatever that may be. And if you want to have a shawl or other things for warmth. One of the key ideas for seated practice is that the knees are grounded on the earth. And so we can accomplish that by either having really mobile hip sockets or elevating the pelvis. So don't feel free to sit on a block or a cushion to elevate the hips. Organize the knees in such a way that they can ground to the earth, and that will allow for the back and the hips to release and be supple. When you're ready to let the eyes close down, the spine extend, and we'll just re-warm up our breathing with the full yogic breath. But I'm going to add what's called a kumbhak. And kumbhak, the word itself means suspension. And so as we inhale, say full yogic breathing, get to the very top of the inhale and just continue to filter a little bit of breath into the body for, 3, 4, 5 counts, whatever's comfortable for you. And then gently exhale. And same at the bottom of the exhale, go to the very bottom of the exhale and then allow for the breath to continue to kind of release from the lungs at the very, very, very bottom of your breathing. And then the inhale comes in as an expansion of the belly. Just continue that practice. So full yogic breathing with kumbhak, with suspension of breath at the top of the inhale and the bottom of the exhale. As you release the breath fully at the bottom, the tummy kind of lightly, belly button draws towards the spine, allowing for the diaphragm to fully lift, and the last remnants of air to release from the lungs. Allow the body to experience this in a very fluid nature. So again, the elbows stack under the shoulders so the torso can be broad, the collarbones and moving away from one another. Sometimes as we go to the bottom of the exhale, the nervous system isn't quite ready to be comfortable, if you will, with that full extension of the exhale. So work with that accordingly. Allow for the edge to be explored without, say, grasping or gasping for breath. And then gently with your next exhalation, just release this practice. Just kind of breathing normally here. Just kind of feeling. So our next practice doesn't really have a name, but the technique is really potent. The practice will be where we'll do a full yogic breath on an inhale, and then we'll hold the breath in, and then we'll push out the belly, and then draw it to the spine 3 times, and then exhale the breath. We'll practice this together also 3 times, but we'll do it together. And so exhale your breathing completely. And then take a full yogic breath, inhale, hold the breath in at the top. And then with your own pacing, extend the belly out and then to the spine 3 times, and then exhale. Relax the belly out as you exhale. Then we'll take a catch breath here. When you're ready, inhale your breathing. Exhale your breathing. And then full yogic breath on an inhale, hold the breath in. And then move the belly 3 times out and in. ready here, catch breath. So inhaling your breathing. Exhaling your breathing. Last round, a full inhale. Hold the breath. Extend the belly out 3 times, spine and back. Of course, exhaling when you're ready. And then return to diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing here, please. Just begin to watch your breathing in and out of the body for meditation to start. Focusing all the attention, your awareness, the willpower on just observing the breath. It's natural to let the breathing become more subtle, more shallow, more light. We gently allow the mantra of so hum to come into the experience, where we tone the sound of so as you lightly inhale and the sound of hum as you exhale. These are internal sounds, so it's subvocal in the mind, so hum. A river of breathing and vibration and inner illumination. witnessing thread of concentration of dharana, breath, mantra. Just very gently let the mantra subside. Concentration on your breathing so dissipate. Just to let your perception be guided to what is felt as stillness or as peace. So noticing the awareness that's supporting that conditioned experience. So witnessing. So chant and Om here together. Really subtle though. So be really subtle. Anyway. Om. Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Loka Samastha Sukhino Bhavantu. And then an Om and three Shantis together. So exhaling the breath, inhaling, full breath for Om. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So, okay, friends. Thanks for joining me here on the stream and making it through our meditation practice too. And what I would, offer is at some point, today, come back to the bhav, come back to the flow, the flow of water. And we can still be active in the world, but how we do what we do is, again, kind of more important than what we do, I think. And so, especially in this time when everything's so tender, you're welcome, Stephanie. Let's continue to have this kind of water element about our nature and allow that to kind of lead our perceptions of ourselves and the world and one another. Sprinkle that around a little bit. And and thank you for supporting this practice that has the little, as I said, it was going to be a little more teachy as it was today and specific with respect to how we practice. And so thanks for processing that. Any feedback on that, definitely willing to receive. And so reach out, direct message me or otherwise. I appreciate that. And you know how this ends, folks. Love, peace, and that's what we do. Okay, take care, everyone. Love you. Bye.